ADHD Care Podcast. We are at the ADHD and Autism Show in London, and I'm pleased to say we are at the PDA Society stand. And I've got Helen. Hi, Helen.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. PDA, that's something, obviously, a term that some people understand, some people don't seem to understand. For anyone listening who doesn't seem to understand what PDA is, do you want to just break it down and tell us exactly what that is, what it stands for?
Yeah, so it stands for Pathological Demand Avoidance. And it's currently, there's still a bit of confusion and debate around it, but it's currently understood to be a profile on the autism spectrum. So you can't get a standalone diagnosis of PDA, but you can get a diagnosis of autism with a PDA profile as part of that. And some people are less keen on the term pathological, which sounds quite negative. So some people also like the idea of calling it pervasive drive for autonomy. But essentially what it is people with PDA have a really extreme avoidance of demands, which is rooted in anxiety. And one of the things that can cause a lot of problems is that it can come across as oppositional, defiant, but actually it's driven by anxiety, and it's not the person's fault. It's very much can't, not won't.
Do you want to give us an example? Like, obviously that can affect adults as well, not just young people. Okay, any example? Like, what sort of demand are we talking about here?
Yeah, I think one of the ways that you can differentiate it is, most of us have demand avoidance, don't we? Most of us have things that we don't really want to do. You might not want to go to the gym. Sometimes all of us experience it when we don't want to go to work. With the whole idea of it being pathological is it's much more extreme than that. It can be very everyday basic demands like brushing your teeth, getting dressed, being able to leave the house. And one of the things that's the sort of clear difference is that with PDA, it's often also things that people want to do, but they actually still can't.
So in terms of phrasing and communication, so obviously communication is key. When you're trying to get someone when you're asking them to do something, that's where the demand, if it's interpreted as a demand, that's where the anxiety goes up and the avoidance sort of kicks in.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are things that can really help, sometimes quite simple things like using declarative language. So rather than telling people that they need to do something, there are other ways that you can kind of observe things, or also giving choices as well, like giving someone two choices so that they feel like they have some control. There are quite simple things like that can help it become a lot more manageable.
It can easily be missed, honestly, because as you say, if it falls within the realm of autism, some people might just think that's part of someone having autism, the traits. What makes it having to be separated as would you call it a subcategory or as a characteristic, a symptom, or would you describe it as?
So it was first identified by a psychologist called Elizabeth Newsome in the 1980s. And the way that she thought it needed to be differentiated was that she had children that were coming to her that didn't actually quite fit the traditional diagnostic criteria for autism. So it was presenting slightly differently, but they all did share certain traits with each other. So, for example, one of the things that presents quite differently is that PDA children tend to have more on the surface social skills, so they can be making quite good eye contact and they can be very sociable, but it's actually masking their difficulties. Another one can be pretend play, whereas a lot of autistic children don't tend to engage in pretend play. With PDA children, they can actually engage in pretend play to quite an extreme extent, and it's actually a coping mechanism. So you get a lot of PDA children that actually spend a lot of time living their life pretending that they're a dog or a dinosaur. One of the things about the PDA Society is that everyone that works there is either PDA themselves or is a parent carer of a PDA person, because we like to have lived experience. So I have a PDA child myself, and sometimes he'll have to make up a game where we're both dinosaurs to get us out of the house. So that's like his coping mechanism. So there's quite sort of different ways that it presents that are kind of how you can differentiate it. But obviously there's also ways that it's similar too. So a lot of PDA children also have a lot of sensory issues and things like that. So it's kind of, we kind of best understand it at the moment as a sort of slightly different profile of autism.
Would use of social stories, would that help with PDA?
With some children, potentially, but it can also be quite problematic as well, because I guess it depends how it's done, but it can be kind of also seen as a demand. Like certainly with my own child, social stories don't work at all. But obviously it's the same as autism generally, that every person is different as well. You've heard the saying, you've met one autistic person, and that's very much the same for PDA people too.
How is it assessed, PDA?
So at the moment, as part of the diagnostic process, if you have somebody who understands about PDA who's doing the assessment, there is an extreme demand avoidance questionnaire that they use as part of the autism assessment. And then when they do the report, when they diagnose autism, they will also specifically reference the fact that there's a PDA profile, and that can be really helpful with things like school, because the things that usually work well for autistic children, such as lots of kind of visual supports and telling them exactly, we're going to do this and then we're going to do that, a lot of those kind of methods can actually not work at all for PDA children. So understanding those slight differences in how to relate to PDA children is particularly important.
And I mean, for us, because I'm a clinician as well, I wouldn't say a lot of us are knowledgeable around PDA, to be fair. And so when we do assessment for diagnosis for autism, I'm aware of PDA, but I know some clinicians might not fully understand how it presents or acknowledge it and diagnose it as part of the autism spectrum. Is there some sort of training that clinicians can maybe go to in terms of to skill themselves up in terms of what? Because I think it's very important for it to be recognised at the stage of autism diagnosis. And as I said, not everyone, particularly from a clinical point of view, are knowledgeable, skilled enough to be able to recognise and also highlight it as one of the key components of the profile.
I think a lot of it is just about awareness, because I think as long as the clinician's aware of it as a possibility, it can be something that is looked at and maybe questioned a bit during the diagnostic process, particularly when discussing with the parents as part of the assessment process. And there is that questionnaire that they can look at as well. It would probably be really helpful if that questionnaire became more something that is always looked at as part of the diagnosis. But the PDA Society does also offer training, including to professionals, and there's a lot of resources and information on our website that people can access as well. And we have an entire training hub that has all sorts of different modules and on-demand training, as well as doing live training. So we're very much here as a kind of resource for people to come and check and find out more. Yeah.
So Resource Hub training, you offer information and support.
Yeah, we also offer a free support service for adult PDAs and for parents of PDAs that's completely free, and it's all delivered remotely, but it's all provided by people with lived experience, so you've got really deep understanding of what people are dealing with.
Yeah. Are there any other professionals out there, like Sarah, for example, that would physically go in and do work from a clinical point of view in terms of specifically focusing on doing assessments for PDA for those who've been maybe diagnosed with autism prior?
Yeah, we do. We also have a directory on our website, and we have on there a listing of clinicians that have a particular interest in PDA. Yeah. That's actually how my son was diagnosed, because it had become really clear to me that he fit that criteria, whereas actually if I'd been going just for an autism assessment with somebody who didn't understand PDA, I thought they might not actually diagnose him. Interestingly, he actually scored highly for autism as well anyway, but I think from my point of view I was concerned that it wasn't showing and the school weren't really recognising it because he was masking very heavily. So there is that list of clinicians that specialise in it, and also if there's other clinicians that aren't on that list, they can contact us so that we can put them on there. And that means that if people are particularly concerned that it might be missed, or if they've already got the autism diagnosis but they feel that that's the missing piece of the puzzle, then they can go there and find out who they can go to for a more specialist assessment by somebody who really understands PDA.
Lastly, what's the website? What's your website again?
It's pdasociety.org.uk.
Excellent. Are you on social media as well?
We are. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
How are you finding this exhibition today?
Brilliant, really lovely to be around a crowd of people that all really understand. Lovely.
Yeah, amazing, great to speak to you.
You too.
Okay. We might come back and pinch some more resources you have over there, some leaflets. But obviously, if people who can't make it today, these are available online as well, are they?
Yes, we have lots of everything. All of the information that's in these leaflets is also available on our website.
Okay, all right, perfect. And we got some lollipops over there. Amazing, nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Take it up, that's yours. So, do you want to just introduce yourself and tell us about your company?
Yes, so my name's Kathy Wassell. I run Autistic Girls Network charity, and last year we launched The Haven, which is our online school, non-profit specialist online school. So we do a lot of different things, but we have a support group of 37,000 people in there. We do a lot of school training, we do a lot of family workshops, we do a free one every month for families. We have 20 face-to-face groups around the country, and we also do corporate training for health and social care professionals, everything like that. Mm-hmm. And The Haven launched last year because of the massive need that we were seeing. Mm-hmm. So many young people in our cohort who are crashing out of the education system.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the main concerns that parents come to you and talk to you about?
Wow, so many. A lot of it revolves around school. I would say almost all of it, really, for parents, revolves around school. There are a lot of families who are having great difficulty with how their child is experiencing their education, whether that is because of what is happening internally for that child or whether that's happening in the school environment. It's likely to be a mix of both. But we are experiencing a lot of parents who are saying that schools don't understand their child, and what's happening is it's then layering injustice upon injustice. The school doesn't understand the child is pushed so much that they react to something that's happening. That reaction is then interpreted as defiance or whatever it might be. And that child then feels what's happening is unfair. Yeah. So you're layering unfairness upon unfairness, and it's a miscommunication between the two. What we need to do is unpick what's happening so that we can translate that miscommunication.
Are we talking about mainstream children in mainstream schools?
We get the same happening in SEND schools too.
In SEND school?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if I think about the mainstream schools, there's this emphasis around behaviour. Rightfully so, they have their behaviour policies. Sometimes that doesn't really apply and work in the favour of a young person with neurodiverse needs. And I've seen that with my own experience. With my son, they're quick to exclude, suspend, call you and say he's done this, done that. But I like what you said about looking at what the young person is struggling with. They could be trying to communicate something, and then yet that's not being picked up, and then it would then spiral into a behaviour. And I'm sure that's kind of what you were discussing.
And unfortunately, it's not new. It's been more than 20 years that the number of children and young people with SEND, who are excluded from school, has been the massive majority of children excluded. They are really disproportionately excluded from school. This issue has actually got worse in 20 years, not better. So it's really something that we need to be considering and we need to be acting upon.
If there was a teacher listening right now who works with young people with neurodiverse needs, what would you be advising them?
I would be saying, first of all, you need to make the effort to understand that young person, and you need to open your mind that their experience of the world may not be the same as your experience of the world. When my daughter, who is autistic and ADHD, when she was at mainstream school, before anyone knew that she was autistic, she was at secondary school, she was in a science lesson where they were doing an experiment to create a sound that supposedly humans could not hear. At that point she was situationally mute in school because she didn't feel safe, but this felt so unfair to her because she could hear the sound. Her experience was she could hear the sound, and she told the teacher that she could hear the sound. He poo-pooed the idea, said, no, humans can't hear this sound. And she pushed back, said, I can hear it. He gave her detention. And she obviously felt that this was massively unfair because she could hear the sound. It was so outside of his own experience that he could not even comprehend that somebody else could hear it. So what I'm saying is, you must open your mind to the idea that different people have different experiences to you and they're all valid.
I mean, now we're seeing the high rate of neurodiverse needs in the community anyway. So if you think about teacher training, that the thing I often hear is it doesn't really cover much about neurodevelopmental needs training, and then you look at the school where they have so many young people in the classroom that have undiagnosed neurodiverse needs. So, and for you to get support, sometimes some teachers in some schools say you actually have to have a formal diagnosis before you can put something in place, which to me I think it's wrong.
Oh, well, it's actively wrong, and it's also against Department for Education guidance. So, absolutely push back about that. You do not need a diagnosis under the Equality Act. You do not need a diagnosis. So, reasonable adjustments need to be put in place whether a diagnosis is present or not.
Yeah, I like what you said as well, but just being aware and being conscious rather than just focusing on the behaviour. Look at what's happening with this young person, and you were mentioning about having someone safe. A safe person for them to go to in the classroom, in the school setting. That's quite important as well, because sometimes these young people can feel isolated, can't they? Where they don't feel like they can take off their mask and go to someone where they could just be understood and feel that this person understands and be able to help them forward.
Yeah, it's really, really important, and I understand that it's not always easy, and you can't force a safe person on somebody because they have to feel safe to that young person. So you will definitely need their input about who those safe people, preferably not just one, those safe people will be. And so that needs flexibility, but it's really, really important.
And lastly, about co-regulation. I'm a parent. I was talking to my colleague just now, Kelly. We were saying how difficult that is in a situation where you could be a young person that's having a meltdown, and you also have to regulate yourself before you can actually regulate the young person, particularly when you're trying to get out the door and you have a neurotypical young person who's going, daddy, 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 or mummy, mummy. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I understand. I am a parent of autistic children myself. I understand how difficult it is to co-regulate, but it's in your own best interest, because if that child is in a meltdown, what you need to be doing is validating how they are feeling, believing how they are feeling, doing whatever it is that will comfort them in that moment. And I'm not going to say what that might be because it's going to be different for every child. Yeah. One child will want a hug, one child desperately won't want a hug, and that will make everything worse. Yeah. So, you know your child and you know what works for them. But that's what you need to be doing, putting pressure on them to get out of the door, no matter how difficult it is for you, it's not going to solve the issue.
Yeah. And then sometimes we lose sight to how difficult it is for the young person to walk into a neurotypical world where there's all these things going on, there's high expectations on them, there is unpredictability, there's social conflicts with peers, siblings, and all of that stuff. And sometimes it's harder to pause and go, do you know what? I can see where they're coming from, rather than just focusing on the reaction. But sometimes it's having that empathy to understand that it is tough, isn't it?
It
for most of these young people, and they can't express into words.
Yeah, it is tough. But the thing is, it's not a one-time fix. You know, and co-regulation is not a one-time fix. But what you will find is that you keep putting it into practice and you think about the environment around them, the sensory environment, and you create a very low arousal sensory environment, it will bring the anxiety down. And that's what you need to be aiming for, is an overall bringing the anxiety down. Because then you're not so close to fizzing over all the time. If you can just dampen down the general anxiety, it will make everything easier, and it will make all the things which are going to suddenly overwhelm them, it will make them easier to cope with.
We know autism, particularly with females, young girls, can present differently to boys, similar to ADHD, similar to other conditions. I'm a clinician. It can easily be missed, particularly we sometimes focus on rating scales and this person doesn't score beyond the threshold, and there's a lot of girls that get missed and not meet the threshold to go and have a formal assessment. What could be done about that? I mean, this is me trying to turn to you and say, what would you advise us clinicians? Are we rigid in terms of what we look out for?
The first thing I would say is have a look at our white paper, which is called Autism Girls and Keeping It All Inside, and it's all about an internal profile. And it doesn't really talk about ADHD. Maybe we should write another version. But most of the things in here would be just as relevant to a female ADHDer. Yeah. I mean, I do want to say there isn't a boy autism and a girl autism. There is an internal and an external profile, and most girls will fit into the internal profile, but some won't, and those are the ones that will be diagnosed at 3, and vice versa for boys. You know, my son wasn't diagnosed autistic until he was 17, so he very much has an internal profile. Boys and girls, doesn't matter, it's internal versus external. There are, of course, other things, and there is differences in way that society treats men versus women, or boys versus girls, and that's a different thing. But yeah, keeping it inside is what we tend to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Is this your first time you come to this exhibition?
We were here last year.
You were here last year. What's your thoughts
about last year?
Was it? I mean, what's your thoughts about this year?
Yeah, it's busy. We haven't had a chance to stop yet.
I know. I mean, it's great. For us, it's the first time we've come here, so we're quite intrigued and certainly coming to your talk. Do you want to just quickly show us what's on your stand?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got lots of different leaflets which talk about our different services. We do a lot of school training. So that is all the different school training that we do. We also do corporate training for health and social care professionals, and we do a lot of family stuff. So you can join our Facebook group and ask the questions that you like in there. We do have family workshops as well every month. But a lot of clinicians do signpost to our white paper after a diagnosis, so that might be something you want to think about. And I also have a book, Nurturing Your Autistic Young Person, which has sold quite a lot of copies.
Amazing. I might come back and get a signed copy of that.
Okay.
Lastly, if anyone wants to find out more about you, how can they connect with you?
Yeah, so our website is autisticgirlsnetwork.org. So everything is, there's lots and lots of resources on there. Yep. You can download this for free on the website and various other documents as well.
Amazing. Nice to meet you, Kathy.
And you.
Okay, have a good day.
And you. Thank you. Bye.
ADHD Care Podcast, we're back. We're at the B Squared stand, and I've got Dale Pickles, who I've known for quite a number of years, actually. Yes. Hi, Dale.
How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Good to see you.
Good. Yeah, I saw your face and I recognised you. I'm going, I know him. And I'm going through my memory, and I did not go to the person who diagnosed me.
There you go. You're probably thinking, who's this guy? But we, as you just said, you came to our clinic and you obviously had your assessment done, diagnosed with ADHD, and you were, I know you do a lot of work in the SEND department, don't you? Do you want to tell our listeners in terms of what you do exactly?
So as a company at B Squared, we show small steps of progress. Mm-hmm. So rather for those children who don't make the typical or right amount of progress according to schools, we can show that progress, and we also have tools that help profile someone's autism. And we've just got a new framework which is about, again, identifying where those executive functions are, which lots of neurodivergent people struggle with. So actually being able to help schools understand that that child isn't being naughty, they don't have those skills.
So is it your work just mainly around working with the schools? Is it mainstream schools or specialist schools?
So with B Squared, we support all schools. Okay. Most of them are UK based, but we have got some in the Middle East, the Far East. We've got some in Australia, New Zealand, so around the world. And it's quite amazing because in England we don't think we're doing that well, but yet we somehow are seen as some of the best. So even today we've met people from Australia and Canada who've come, not America and Canada, who've come to this show to find out information. So for me, supporting schools is our big thing as B Squared, but with the podcast we do, it's for everyone.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about the podcast, what it's called and what you cover.
So the podcast is called the SENDCast. We've been going now for 6 years. We've released 300 episodes, and it's covering all aspects of special needs. So our main aim was to reach all teachers in schools. SENCOs come to events like this, but not all the staff do. So we wanted to be able to reach all those staff. But because I'm not a teacher, because I'm not education-based, I'm not asking teachery questions. I'm asking questions as an interested human, trying to find out more about themselves, their children, so on. So what we found is, although we aimed at schools, we get loads of parents listening, we get external professionals listening, we get the Department for Education listening, we get driving instructors listening. Anyone who is supporting other people, they get to learn not just purely about autism, but all the wider implications.
What actually got you into working in this field?
So my mum started B Squared, and I was fed up with my previous job, which was a forklift truck driver for IKEA, and I was just going to help out for a couple of years. 8 years later, I was running the company because my parents just wanted to do what they wanted to do. I've been running it now for 18 years, coming up to, but it is just, my mum was a teacher, my dad was IBM or ex-IBM, and it was just, I could see where children needed that support, but also where schools wanted to but didn't have the right tools. And it's having that right information. And generally I have meetings with lots of schools who want to do more, but they don't necessarily have the tools or the knowledge to be able to do that. So that's what we try and do. We try and make that difference and give those schools tools that mean they can support those children easily.
Yeah. I was talking to Kathy just over there, and we were saying teacher training doesn't usually cover neurodiversity a lot. I'm sure you come across that, and I'm sure teachers say that too, which is one of the issues that they find, that they become qualified, they're having to deal with a lot of young people with neurodiverse needs, and that can cause some challenges there.
Yeah, so if you go into what's in initial teacher training, there's all this training around teaching. EHCPs are never mentioned. So neurodiversity, special needs, so they're going to go into that first day in that new school, there is most definitely going to be a child with an EHCP in that classroom, and that teacher is going to have no idea what that actually is, whether they should read it, what they should do about it, and support them. The differences around neurodiversity, that is just simply not covered. Lots of people are saying it's getting better. It's got a long, long way to go.
Where do you see all of this going in 5 years' time?
5 years' time, I am optimistic. So there are lots of changes happening in education over the next 5 years. I did a special episode on my podcast, on the SENDCast, called Fixing a Broken System, where the government's produced a white paper, they've released a consultation around SEND, and I've written a 35-page response, kind of analysing it all. And again, reading is one thing, but listening is a lot easier, so we recorded it as an episode. And I've had really good feedback on looking at kind of that journey over the last 10 years. So I am optimistic about what's coming. I am optimistic about the changes. But the money from the government has to be there. And the local authorities also need to step up in the way the government wants them to.
So if there are any schools out there or teachers listening and they feel they can do with your support, what are the steps that they can take to sort of reach out to you?
So my recommendation is just go on the B Squared website. You've got book a free online meeting. We don't do sales. We're not a sales company. We're just, this is what we offer. We find out where you are, what you need, what support you need, and then we will take you through the bits that we do that will support you. And a lot of time there's a lot of education in those phone calls or those Teams meetings because a lot of information from the government and other places are not clear. So we spend a lot of time almost re-educating people on actually what they should be doing, what the Autism Inspection Framework, what different assessment frameworks do, where children actually are working. And whether they use it or not, there's a lot of education going on.
So you've been here for a few times, haven't you, in the past few years? Or is this the second?
We've been doing this show now for maybe 13th or 14th year.
Oh, wow.
So I think we missed the first one, but we've been at every one ever since. So it's a really nice show, and if you have never been to the Autism and ADHD show, they generally choose quiet venues, the lights are dimmed, all the talks are done through headphones, so we're not standing here listening to loads of talks going on. You won't know a talk's going on until everyone starts clapping. So they put lots of work in, there's regulation rooms, the aisles are really wide so no one's feeling crammed in, so they do a lot of work to make everyone feel included, welcome, and that they can come.
B Squared, I like the name. How did that come about?
So it's a really strange thing. Most people I think it's some educational term, but it was my mum, for some reason, when she started the company, she wanted to almost step away from her previous life of teaching. So her married name was Brenda Pickles, her maiden name was Brenda Byram, and the two B's became B Squared.
Oh, okay.
Nothing clever, nothing, it's linked to this or anything, it's just playing with that. She went, B Squared. Yeah. And we're never going to change it because it is such a well-known name in the industry. But in reality, there is no meaning behind B Squared in education. It's just, that'll do. But everyone knows us.
I thought he was trying to solve some sort of maths equation or something like that when I heard about it the first time.
Somebody, I was doing some training somewhere, and this person who was introducing me spent the previous evening trying to research what B Squared meant within the world of SEND, and spent all this work trying to create, what is it? Have I missed it? I should know this. And he pulled me aside at the beginning. Where's B Squared come? What have I missed? He went, it's just this. And he went, I've wasted a whole evening. Clever names can do something, but what we've done, we started off selling workbooks and paper assessment files, like sheets you used to tick off. We now do the software, we have other software to help parental communication, we have the podcast, we have CPD. So sometimes having a kind of a brandish name, which doesn't mean anything, means you can change.
True. You just gave a talk just there. You had a standing ovation. I mean, rightfully so. People loved it. We caught some right at the end of it, didn't we? Do you want to give us a flavour of what you were talking about just now?
So the talk was all about executive function and how lots of neurodivergent children struggle with those executive functions, and they're punished for that. So they're punished for forgetting things. They're punished for not getting their homework done. They're punished for shouting answers out or saying things or doing things, or they're just not bringing a pen to maths or not bringing that. They get punished for so many things, yet most of the time those children are punished. I'm not saying children aren't naughty, but generally behaviour is communication and so on. But so many of these sanctions that happen in schools are because that child has poor executive function skills. So we've worked with an amazing lady called Victoria Bagnall to create an executive function framework which schools can use to then identify where children are, and then hopefully they'll be able to finally correlate that because they're missing those skills, we're literally giving them that attention because they're neurodivergent. And that needs to stop.
100%. I mean, you're doing amazing work, honestly, Dale. I could talk to you for another 2 hours here. And lastly, if people want to reach out and find out more about your services, how can they contact you?
So podcasts, I'll go there first. So if you go to the SENDCast.com or literally search for the SENDCast on Spotify, you'll find it. In every single show notes, you find my contact details. So for me, it's important that people can reach me. Yeah, sometimes people are trying to sell me stuff, but other times people are just going, I need help. And I always try and help wherever I can.
And of course, the B Squared website, bsquared.co.uk.
Yes, bsquared.co.uk. So if you are a school you're struggling to show progress, you want to identify things more, so whether it's profiling autism, executive function skills, personal development, and so many other areas, have a look at the B Squared website.
You need to come onto our podcast one day properly. I'm surprised you've been going on for this long. We haven't invited each other on our podcast. What's that about?
Yeah, no, I've literally my executive function skills. I'm generally running from one thing to the next, not planning things, but definitely that would be good.
Yeah, let's do that. Good to see you, Dale.
Good to meet you again.
All right, take care. How are you?
Very well.
Great to see you. We are at the creative activity stand, or is it the Sensory or Sensor Cube? What's the name of the company?
Creative Activity is the name of the company. SensorCube is a product that we created.
Okay, great. Welcome to our podcast. I'm Archie. I run a podcast called the ADHD Care Podcast. So we're here. It's our first time we've come to this nice roadshow, whatever you want to call it. Networking with lots of people. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your company and how you kind of got involved into kind of doing what you do now?
Yeah, sure. So Creative Activity company was founded 20 years ago, and it was primarily based on nursery educational toys and games.
Yeah.
And then we started looking into sensory products to just help with regulation and calming. As we were in the education space, we could see the need. And then there was also then a bit of a family story where there was a child born in the family. It was very premature, and it was a fairly traumatic journey, but one of the first things that this child responded and opened his eyes to was a bubble tube, and we had supplied this item into a hospital, and that's really what led us into this journey.
Okay. So tell us about the type of client groups you work. You just gave us one example there, but obviously this is an autism and ADHD space. How does this product or products fit into kind of neurodiversity, particularly ADHD and autism?
So the products are designed with neurodiversity in mind, so there's lots of different types of product, whether it's interactive light panels or vibration panels, maybe different tactile surfaces, and they're all designed to help calm and regulate the senses.
Okay. There's a few products you have on display. Shall we do a quick demo? Because obviously we've got our camera lady over there.
Sure, absolutely.
Which one would you recommend?
So I'll start with our vibration wall pads.
Yeah, perfect.
So these are great for great for cause and effect.
Can I give you the camera?
For the mic, yeah, no problem. So these are great for cause and effect. So we put these in a lot of rooms. We've got little spots here, so when you press this, you get vibration. So a lot of people will lean against it and just get that deep pressure, that feedback. Very cause and effect. Yeah, give it a go. So I'll just hold this. You've got to get it on the spot.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Okay.
And then this is one of our tactile panels. So lots of just different tactile surfaces, and some just like to feel them and kind of get the experience of different surfaces. Just helps to focus and again just regulate. Some people just like a certain one and might just go back and resonate with one. This one then is our snow panel. It is an interactive one. Now this one is in an anti-ligature casing for mental health environments, but there is also buttons on there where you can interact with the panel, change the colour of the lights, turn the snow on and off, increase or decrease the speed. So a lot of different focus products there. This one then is, we have lots of different furniture options. This one is a rocking chair. So this is a small size for children, full foam construction, so very safe. And all the fabric and vinyl that we use is wiped clean, fire resistant to meet all the regulations. This one then, we call this our elephant beanbag, and it's great, very, very supportive. So it's soft memory foam beads, and when you sit in it, you just kind of sink in, and it just gives you that hug. It's that safe feeling. Just you're really well supported. And then it's also got a washable cover, so you can zip off the cover, put it through the wash.
Have a go.
Yeah, absolutely. Give it a go. Yeah, these are very popular, yeah. Yep, so that's good. Then this is a portable product we create, so a lot of areas we go through don't maybe have a space or an actual room to set aside, or you might have users that aren't mobile, so you can bring sensory to them, and these are customizable, so you can switch up the color of the padding, change what products goes in it to suit the needs of the users. Everything we have.
Is that the cube?
SENDCast, this is our flagship.
It's slowly working on.
Save the best till last. I'll maybe just touch on, this is actually, unfortunately it's not working today because we don't have Wi-Fi, but this is an interactive projector.
Okay.
So the projection on the floor, there's lots of different themes on there, and they're actually interactive, so you can like kind of move around. You might get fish in the floor and you can kind of move them around, or play football, or lots of different things you can do with that. And there's educational content on there too. And then with the software, you can even create your own content.
Amazing. So the idea is obviously to work with schools and work with what? I'm sorry. My question was around about obviously the type of like environments that you go and put these products in. Is it more in school environments, in home environments as well, or home environments as well?
Absolutely. So schools would be the main one.
Yeah.
But we do it right across all industries, from healthcare to like football stadiums, transport hubs like airports, train stations, pretty much everywhere.
I've seen quite a few when you say airports. You're right. Yeah, I like the that floor design thing that you could see on there.
Like liquid floor tiles.
The liquid floor tiles. Yeah.
Very fun to play on.
Yeah. Shall we just pop into the queue?
Let's do it.
Oh, sorry. I thought she was joking there. Okay, so before we go in there, give us the idea of the cube. What's this about?
Yeah, we can go in.
Yeah.
So we developed this SENDCast with a number of things in mind, but the main problem that a lot of schools primarily were facing was they didn't actually have maybe a room or space that they could put a sensory room into the school. So this was a little modular pod that we created so that they could put this up within maybe an open corridor, assembly hall. So it gives them that sensory space without taking up over an entire room and takes away this premium of space. But then building on that, it's also allowed us to maybe bring sensory rooms directly into classrooms. But then also, as I mentioned, other public spaces, airports, shopping centres has been perfect just to set up a little pod. And these are fully customizable, so we can change what panels go in here, change the type of equipment. We've got interactive projection going on. And then the other nice thing about these is the wrap on the outside can be customised. So for corporate environments or maybe even school trusts, you're dealing with, you can put their logos on it, put their theme on it, and really gives them that personal experience.
And safety-wise, it's all nice.
So yeah, full steel structure, all safety padding, and all these panels are rigorously tested. And yeah, it's very robust. Yeah, so this is our Causal Wizard control system. So we can put this into sensory rooms as well. But essentially what happens here is there's lots of preset themes on here. When you select a new one, you got the projection, but then all the lights, so you get LED strips, bubble tube, panels, the colour is all interactive with the projected theme, and then you've got back interacts as well.
I like that it's portable, as you say. You can move it around, you can place it in different environments. Because before, traditionally, people would have had to find a room where you can designate to be your sensory room. But now, obviously, you've got portable sensory boxes, if you want to call them that. So, yeah, I mean, great.
Thank you, Archie.
Great idea. Nice to meet you.
Great to meet you. Thank you.
I feel like I want to just stay in here now. I don't want to come out. Thank you. Oh, yeah.
man,
You're gonna be famous.
We're going to be famous
Yeah, exactly.
for all the right reasons, I do hope.
Of course, absolutely. I mean, after giving that talk you gave out there,
Did you like it?
we loved it.
Thank you so much.
That's why I thought I had to come and talk to you about what you do.
Yeah,
and
that was great.
yeah. Anyway, nice to meet you. Do you want to introduce TTS to us and a bit about yourself?
TTS is a miracle amongst miracles because basically TTS, when I first started working in special educational needs, there were no resources. There was nothing. Blue tack. Little fiddling with blue tack, that's about it. And so, although I don't work for them, I do their sort of advisory work for these conferences, telling people how to use the resources and basically, you know, and how varied they are, give people advice on what they might want to buy. But I don't actually work for TTS, as I say, it's a consultancy role.
Okay.
But the good thing is, you see, my wife is a special needs teacher, and we get a little packet land on the doorstep every now and again. A few toys. Barter. Fantastic.
You get to test it first before you recommend.
Yeah, it's great fun. Yeah.
So what is it that you actually do yourself?
So I'm a special educational needs and disability trainer, consultant, and an observer. So my biggest thing is the observations. I go into schools, colleges, social care, and I do observations, and I try and problem solve for people. You see, if you think of a school teacher's looking at behaviour, monitoring, assessment, teaching. All I got to do is go in the room and watch, and that's a really good place to be. So I would see things they don't normally see.
I don't like the word challenging behaviour, though. I don't know what your thoughts are about that.
Well, but that's what my whole talk was, really, wasn't it?
I know, I came to it, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was going to come to that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, are we challenging in terms of what? If we're trying to define the term?
Defining the term, I would say anything that people find aggressive or, you know, rude or anything that's sort of going to upset, and how you interpret it. True. You know? Yeah. I mean, if you've got a situation, so I know when my wife comes home from work, if she's had a bad day, she might be a bit, you know, and same with me, I might be a bit, if I've had a bad day. You know, we say, oh, well, can I get you a gin and tonic? Do you want to sit? That's the way to deal with it. Not, don't come in the door shouting at me and all that, you know. Yeah. And so for me, it's anxious behaviour, you know, and it's a really important message. And it's been my message now for 37 years.
Yeah.
And if what you're doing as well, is you're looking at what's going on in that person's head. Not what are they doing, what are they feeling, what are they experiencing.
We talk about function with behaviour, don't we? It's trying to get to the function. What's the purpose of this? They could be hungry, they could be upset, tired, all sorts of reasons. And rather than just focusing on the reaction, as you say, it's about looking at what's the purpose. What is it that they're trying to communicate that they're not physically.
You got any babies?
They're a bit older than babies. But
yeah, mine are as well now. But you know when they are babies?
Yeah.
And it's only really hungry, pooed, thirsty, tired, It's dead easy. But when they get to sort of 15, it's a lot more complicated game.
True.
You know, so a bit more than babies. Yeah.
You, in your talk, you mentioned Colin Foley. I know Colin really well from ADHD Foundation through his work with the schools. Yeah. Are you kind of doing the same as Colin and people like Finton, O'Regan and stuff like that? I
would say we've all got our way of doing things. Yeah. I've got a lot of time for Finton and I've got a lot of time for Colin. And, you know, they've got some interesting stuff to say. Between them, they've got years of experience, as have I, you know. And we all get on well and we enjoy. Colin had me speaking at one of his conferences one year, you know, and I've worked with Finton a lot. We all got to help each other. We got one goal here. The goal is get it right, you know. So that's what we're all trying to do.
I mean, now as the technology has evolved, there's more research that's gone into this field. I mean, it's great having people like you having conferences and road shows like this. Some people who have kids that are a bit older now, they're probably looking back and going, you know, I was talking to Kelly just now about this. Yeah. If only they had all of these resources and information years back, you know, they could have parented their children differently. Teachers would have been teaching their kids differently. You never know what the outcome of the kids would have been by now. But
let me say, you know, when I said one of my things is pick your battles, don't get in an argument. You know, my son buying a boat. That's the most ridiculous idea he's ever had. You know, he knows nothing about boats. He's got no money, you know, and you look at him and you go, well, let him make his own mistakes. But I didn't learn that. It's ridiculous because I didn't learn that until 2 years ago with my grown-up son, and yet I've been doing all this consultancy work for everyone else's children, you know, and and you don't apply it at home. But I do wonder, how would it have been different if I'd have treated him like that all the way through? You never know.
Practice what you preach.
Yeah, well, you've got to, haven't you? Yeah, but it's not so easy, is it? You know.
No, it is hard. I'm in the same boat as you.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a son with autism and ADHD, and I've run parenting courses, I've diagnosed people, and I've said exactly what you're talking about today. But do I practice it when I get home? Probably not.
Get out of it. Daddy wants to read his paper.
Exactly.
Your pipe.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, it's great that I was talking to B Squared as well. I don't know if you know Dale Pickles and stuff. They're doing amazing work going into schools and stuff like that. How have you been received by teachers and schools?
Oh, do you know what? You get such a positive response. I always say to people, the wonderful thing about my job is people are always pleased to see you. Always pleased to see you because you come in and you help people. I've been doing this, as I said, 37 years. And in those years, I maybe had one or two majorly negative people, but you know, count that above all the thousands of others. It's nothing, is it?
Yeah. I mean,
still upsets you.
Of course.
Yeah, you know, but
the one person that you help, it can go a long way, and I think you're doing your best. And as you say, coming to a place like this, you get to experience and see other people doing fantastic work in all different other areas. We are obviously TTS. Let's go back to what we were talking about.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to just give us a flavour in terms of what they are, what resources that they provide to our neurodiverse community?
Favourites, certainly that there.
Oh yeah,
the wobble sort of seat. She's got it upside down. Have you tried that?
No, I haven't actually.
Actually, do you want to?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
You need to try this.
Yes?
It's fantastic. What's your name?
Archie.
Archie.
Yeah.
Right. Come on, Archie.
Amazing. Do you want to hold the mic?
Yeah.
Archie's trying the seat.
So, tell me, Archie, how long have you been doing what you're doing? What do you reckon?
I think you get used to it initially.
Yeah.
It's quite wobbly, I have to say. I mean, for someone with ADHD,
That's what it's really
That's the
for.
whole point of it. Because before you'd have the wobble cushion, wouldn't you?
I was just laughing. I ended up with the mic.
You interview me now.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I like your shirt. Where'd you get it from?
Thank you. Next, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, this is really lovely. I carry one of those in the boot of my car.
It's quite light as well, isn't it?
Yeah. You can't break it. No. It's unbreakable. So that's one of my things I like. You can take a couple of slots out for smaller children.
Oh, right, okay.
So you can take it down a bit. You can separate them all up and use them for stepping stones. This one comes off the top. You've got a wobble board. So that's quite good. Over here, this is one of my favourites. I love this. A talking visual timetable.
Ooh, like one of those PAC systems.
Yeah.
Circle time. Reading. Play. Breakfast. Sensory room.
And we just today found a new use for this. So there's a woman here, and she is working in a bilingual French-English school in London. And I said, do you know what we could do? We could have the English writing, and it's speaking in French. So, you know, le petit déjeuner, the toilette. I thought that would work really nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's...
And they're customizable then also.
Yeah, you may put what you want in there.
Yeah.
They just come out.
Yeah.
So that's that. What else have we got? Oh, I tell you what.
I like the
These are good.
Look at that.
Oh, it's nice and light.
This one here.
Yeah.
So these are great. My wife uses these. She works in a special school. So if you press the yellow one, then the yellow one will come up. If you press I think it needs a charge. It's been on all day.
What's the point of these?
Well, you
how
can.
does it work?
It really sort of teach you how to use a phone in a very basic way, but also cause and effect. if I press the yellow one happens. I love it. My wife uses it a lot. She really does love it. Or she can send someone on a message. Something
Well, like
like that.
a talk.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I say to you, there was nothing. There was actually nothing when I first started working in this.
I remember is it the TheraBands? What are they called again?
I know the ones you mean.
The ones.
They were there. Oh, here's one.
Yeah, there you go.
You spin it around, yeah?
Spin it around,
Yeah. Smack somebody in the face.
The teacher. Like,
Yeah. I don't believe you were like that, Charlie. Archie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the nice. Yeah, it's quite nice too.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
Very good. So if people want to find out more, sorry, grab the mic there. If people want to find out more about this, for you especially, what's your company website or?
So it's andrewwhitehouse.co.uk.
Okay.
So that's my website.
So of the education consultancy, I'm just breaking things behind me there.
Good, man. We don't mind. The thing is, look, watch this.
Okay.
So that wasn't me
Having
putting out my anxiety.
Having a moment.
But you can't. There's such high quality.
Oh, wow.
And I happen to know a little bit. It's a weird coincidence. When I was a teenager, I got a job in a factory, and they used to make this stuff. I know how to make this stuff, and they used to do police helmets, bike helmets, and boogie boards for going in the sea and stuff. So that's what that is.
You can see some kids like stepping on it and doing the whole.
You can do that.
I don't want to break it.
No, you won't break it. Get on. Yeah.
I was thinking about it. Yeah, there you go. That's nice.
Look at you.
See, there you go. My son would love this, I can tell you.
Oh. Put it in your pocket.
So, I'll put it in my pocket. Can you fold it?
Yeah.
Again, if people want to find out more about the resources, what's TTS?
TTS Special Direct. Just tap that into a Google search, and it'll come up.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Andrew, amazing. Great
Peace
to meet
and
you.
love.
Good to
Thank
see you.
Good to see
All the best. Hi, Richard.
Hi there, how you doing?
Good, thank you. We are at the SOS SEN stand.
Yes, we are, yes. It's lovely to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you. So, do you want to tell us about what SOS SEN does and who you serve and what brings you here?
Sure. So SOS SEN is a national charity. We work all across England, and we help families navigating the special educational needs system. We work to ensure that children get fair and equitable education. We've got a team of volunteers that offer advice, guidance and legally based sort of knowledge to navigate that system.
There's a lot there. I bet you are inundated with the inquiries.
We absolutely are. We've been really, really busy today. We're back again tomorrow. But as a charity, we just keep getting busier and busier. We're last year we supported 5,200 families. It looks set to be more than that this year. So,
what are some of the common themes that most people come to your services for, like parents, for example?
The biggest thing is when we hear from families that their child needs an EHCP, and either the school or the local authority are saying that actually we don't think that you need that, so we don't want you to apply for it. And as a result, we are finding that more and more children are not getting the sort of support that they actually need and deserve. And then what happens is later on, all of those sort of items of scaffolding just come crashing down, and those children are finding school and education that much harder to navigate. and they are the children that just keep getting lost and lost. So it's our job to make sure that that doesn't happen, and that they have everything in place so as they can have the same level of education that everyone deserves and gets, basically.
Despite not having an EHCP.
Our job is to do what we can to make sure that they get that EHCP, and to just level that playing field, basically, because so many local authorities, whether it's on purpose or neglectful, I don't know, but they will give bad advice and guidance, and they will try to sort of like blockade getting that help and support, and that just causes more and more problems. More children out of school, more children unable to access education, more children falling through the cracks and falling behind. All that does is later on down the line, it's going to cause a huge economic decline, because people aren't able to then navigate the next steps in life. So
I mean, it's a twofold angle. You could look at from the local authority. I'm sure they get lots of applications for EHCPs.
Yeah.
And then from their end as well, they've raised the bar in terms of the criteria for someone to be accepted to have an EHCP. I'm sure you've seen that.
Well, the interesting thing is, we do see it. Local authorities make up their own criteria. The criteria is actually set in law. For you to have an assessment for an EHCP, the legal test is really, really quite simple. May this child have any special educational needs, and may they benefit from additional support? Local authorities will tell you that there are other things in place, other criteria. There aren't. They are the two legal tests to get the assessment, and it's our job to remind local authorities of that law. And if you look back over the years of sort of data of tribunal cases, local authorities lose about 98% of their cases when it comes to EHCPs, and that is because they are breaking the law, they are acting unlawfully, and they're giving wrong guidance. So our charity works to stop that.
Yeah. How long personally have you worked in this sort of field for?
So I've been the Chief Exec of SOSN since October 23. I've worked in the field of disability and in the third sector since 2012.
So you probably remember the days when we used to have different levels of educational needs. IEP, School Action Plus, to get to EHCP. Well, we never used to call it EHCP.
No.
It was statements. Yeah. Now, is there, because I've kind of lost touch a bit, is there that criteria that you have to have those certain levels before you reach the EHCP level, or how does it work nowadays?
Some schools and local authorities might try to tell you that there is, but there isn't. It just comes straight back to that test. We know that with the government's white paper, they're looking to steer us back in that way. And unfortunately, we're worried that that's going to make things much more adversarial. But no, there isn't a hierarchy of this. It's, could this child have need, and could they use some extra help? That's it. It could not be more basic.
So the needs that you're highlighting, not necessarily in needs requiring EHCP, that could be needs requiring SEN involvement.
Absolutely, it's across the entire spectrum. It's not, and this is another area where it kind of, there are those traps and those pitfalls. So often schools will say, but your child is achieving really well academically, so you don't need this. And again, that's not the answer. Just because a child is achieving well academically, they could be masking so heavily, and they can get home and they can then crash out and they can lash out and they can have behavioural issues at home, and the schools go, yeah, but they're fine here, they're doing great, and you go, there's more to it, there's more to this. So yeah.
But anyway, there's so many, and sometimes it could be a minefield for parents. If I go on Google right now and I'm looking for advice and support educationally for my child, I don't know where to start.
Do you know what? This is something that we see so much. There is so much information out there and so much misinformation out there. And for me, that's what being a part of this charity is about. It's about cutting through that noise, making sure that we have a solid line of where you can get that information. We've got a helpline that is open term time. It's free to call. There is no limits on how many times you can call. I've got walk-in advice centres where you can speak to an advisor, because I need people to have the right information, because information is key. And you're right, it is terrifying. You know, when I first joined the charity, I didn't know nearly as much about all of this stuff. I tried Googling it and I got lost. And I think it's a system that's designed to lose you. And our job is to cut through all of that noise and actually tell you the basics and tell you how to navigate this system and how to take away all of that other tricky stuff, so as you're on a level playing field as a parent.
So you're kind of doing a bit of advocacy as well.
Too often the rhetoric out there is that parents are pushy, parents are asking too much, and it's only middle class families that get these EHCPs. We've just been speaking to a parent and she told us how her school said that her son needed an assessment. She went in for a meeting and they flipped and said, actually, no, he doesn't need an assessment, he needs a better parent. And they just dug her out for the entire meeting on her parenting. And actually, they highlighted all of the things that should be in an EHCP. And again, it's our job to say, actually, no, you should never feel like you're being a bad parent because you're recognising your child has a need. And it's our job to look after the parents. Everything that we do is about our families. When I took over the charity, I made a solid point of saying to everyone within the team, every single decision that we make, the only reason that we are doing anything is to help our families. If I've got a meeting and it doesn't impact our families, I'm not going. If I've got some email to deal with that doesn't do anything for I'm not interested. The only thing we care about is empowering our families so as they've got a voice and they feel that they can do what they need to do to be the advocates for their children.
I mean, it can feel isolating for parents, and I can talk about this personally as well, having raised a son with autism ADHD, where you're up against a system which isn't really accommodating in a school setting, that is, to your son's needs. And it doesn't feel like they're understanding his needs, empathetic, acknowledging that he has a disability at the end of the day. That could be a no-win battle. If you go into these meetings, you sit there and you're surrounded by these professionals kind of like telling you what you should do, and like you said, the reference of the parents being told is to do with your parenting. And I hear this a lot through my work as well. So it's to give those parents the voice to say, no, don't let them, send you down the pathway that you're advocating for your son or your daughter or whatever, and you have the right for your son to be heard. It is a challenging place, which is why some parents give up, or they just decide and just let the school, because it's a lot.
And I think you're right, and I think unfortunately, that's in so many ways, I think that's what the local authorities are hoping for. They're hoping you're going to give up. They're hoping that they're going to knock you down as much so as you don't feel like you should or could fight. We adopted our son. He was 7 years old when he moved in with us, and each time that we would talk about how his behaviour was different at school, we were told that was just his trauma. And that's the sort of language that then makes you as a parent go, oh, well, it must be me. I must be being really sort of like over the top here. And it's just unfair and it's not right. And we should be able to trust our schools and our local authorities. But like you say, you feel so isolated and you feel like you're the only one. But there is a vast community of families that are navigating this system. I mean, we see it today. This centre is packed full of people. So it feels isolating, but it's about finding that community, finding those people and going, I'm not alone. And the quicker that we can learn that you're not alone and there are other people willing to stand next to you and help you be that advocate and help make you feel like you're not just making it up, that's the key.
If a parent, this is my last question to you, young person is suspended from school for what you believe is most likely to be to do with their unmet needs, to do with their sensory or neurodiverse profile, would you support those parents? Because obviously the schools say, oh yeah, you can always appeal and all of that. Not many parents appeal to that, to be fair. Would you step in, your organisation, would you help parents going through those situations?
Sadly, we hear that an awful lot. There's so many cases where we hear where children are being excluded or suspended because of their behaviours. And again, our argument is that's not their behaviour, that is unmet need. And it's about time you put those sort of support packages in place. So again, that's where we can offer that support and offer the guidance to families on here's how you can navigate that next bit.
Do you support people nationally?
We support all over England. We don't support in Wales, Scotland, or Ireland because the laws are different, but all across England.
And for people to find out more about you, do you want to tell us your website?
Sure, it's sossen.org.uk.
Amazing. Great to meet you.
Thank you very
Nice
much.
to see you.
Cheers.
Take care.